Thank you firstly for joining my little chat session. I connected with you a week back or something, and then we said yes, today would be the day when we can get talking. So, firstly, congratulations also about Aarya, the success of Aarya, a superb series. And
Thank
I
you, Latha.
think I hope you enjoyed making it as much as we enjoyed watching it.
We had a blast. We had a blast, and how I can't wait to tell you so many more little tales of fun that we've had making it. So yeah, it has been a beautiful journey for all of us.
Okay, so let's start about that. Talk to us about the journey you had with Arya and making season one, and hopefully, we're going to see more seasons. But talk to us about the making of season one and working with Sushmita Sen, of course, bringing her out of a hiatus and getting her back on screen. So tell us about all that.
Latha, this started last year, 2019 March. Anyways, this year feels like a deep black hole. So everyone wants to talk
Yeah,
about 2019. It's a lovely
yeah.
year to say. I can see Viren, by the way, saying hi. Sorry, I can just pause and say hi to my favorite boy there, Viren. Kaisa hai?
Who?
And so
Okay, hi,
Viren,
Viren.
Viren, Viren is there, part of the show. He's there in the three kids of the show. So he's
Oh,
right here.
okay, okay. How sweet.
So
Okay.
we'll have a lot more people joining in. Uh,
Hi, Darshini.
yeah, I
Darshini
guess
is a
I
friend of
guess
mine.
I guess this is going to be a nice tea session with a lot of friends around. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that.
Yeah.
This started Latha 2019 March when Ram and team at Equinox. I direct ads at Equinox, which is a
Right.
production house run by Ram.
Mm.
Ram has been a stalwart there, beacon of the advertising industry, and now films with Neerja. And I've been working with him since many years. In fact, I started, I think, around 2011, 12. I started assisting Ram on some ads of his. I
Mm.
used to be a first AD with him. By 2015, I was an associate on Ninja, the
Yeah.
feature film. Me and Vinod Rawat, who also is the other director on the show, and
Okay.
we ended up working together for ads after that. So in
Mm.
2019, Ram called me to say that he's gonna make this series Aarya, which is based on a Dutch show,
Mm.
Penosa,
Penosa.
and he wanted to adapt it since like a long time. I think this has been an idea which has stayed with him for, I would say, close
9 years.
to 9 years. Yeah, 9 years by
Yeah.
then. So he knew why he was adapting it. He knew what he was doing, and he wanted me to find my reason of working on it myself.
Mm.
He had his reasons, and he said, "No, but I know you're a filmmaker who will not work on something for the heck of it, who doesn't like projects. He wants to say something personal." And I remember coming back and saying, "This is something which will allow me to try a genre I never tried. I've never tried crime. This
Mm.
is this is something which is very interesting. But yet I wanted to do crime my way, which is uh, Arya is a show which is a crime family drama. We said no, let's do it the other way around. Let's make it a family crime drama. Let's do that. Let's
Mm.
put family at the forefront of it.
Mm.
Which anyways is the case with the story, but we always ensure that we
Right.
had clarity of vision with that. So that's how we entered Latha, and we started the writing room. Sandeep Srinivasan and Anu Singh Chaudhary, two wonderfully gifted writers, and the idea
Mm.
was to adapt. It's like it's like adapting a piece of literature. We wanted to
Mm.
not remake it in that way. We wanted to use the plot. We wanted to use the strengths of Penosa, but we wanted to root it so much in India that it should be our story. It is a story of our people. That was very important to all of us, and that was our endeavor largely. So yeah, that's
Mm.
that's how it started. And for Ram, he knew he had two things which he said. I remember very clearly right now. One is he always thought drug trade, India, is it really a reality of the country? Till he was once traveling in the train and he saw outside his window huge fields of these white flowers, and
Mm.
he ticket checker was that what flower was that? He's like, ah, ye Afim hai. And he said, Afim, this is opium. So
Yeah.
thought was a defining point where he realized
Mm.
that of the land. Uh, and we said, why is this story compelling us to say to narrate it? What is the right thing about the story? And we found something which is very interesting. Again, spoiler alert for all those who still haven't seen it. Spoiler alert, go away from phones for some time. Like, uh, how does how does a daughter come to terms with the idea of putting his father to jail for a crime? How
Mm.
does it decide to take that route? How
Mm.
do you go against your own family? How do
Mm.
you over your family? And these were questions which we all asked together, and we said these are the questions deep rooted in our ethos of Indian culture from the Bhagavad Gita. These are the
Mm.
questions Arjuna asked about Krishna at some point.
Mm.
Uh, uh, Now we know why this is an Indian story. Why we know how we can say that yes, that's the adaptation route. So
Mm.
that's how we
Mm.
started. Uh, we uh, we were looking at someone to play the lead role of Arya. This is such an important character. Uh,
Mm.
and somewhere I don't know. I think it's just stroke of luck. Shogato, who now works at Sony, at that time used to work at Star, and Ram and Nikhil and Ranjana, Gaurav, the whole team somewhere were looking at options of who to cast for the lead role. Who are the actors who could play and do justice to this part? And they found
Mm.
out that Sushmita Sen was actually open to the idea of a comeback.
Mm.
And I remember Ram telling me that, listen, I'm going to go and meet her with zero expectations. There's no way she'll come to our show. And he I remember this call because it's a very interesting call. I think it was at 5 o'clock
Mm.
the meet. By 6 or so, he called me to say, Sandeep, so I met Sushmita. She's saying yes. Okay, that's it. Is that how it works? Let's take it with a pinch of salt. I think by
Uh,
next week, the manager will say the terms and conditions and
uh.
probably find a patli walk out of it. Unfortunately, बहुत ऐसे ऐसे धोखे खाए हैं. So we thought
Uh.
this might be yes in the first meeting. Who sees an overall vibe of people and the kind of story you want to say, and just with a 5 pager 10 pager, who says yes? Someone like that. But
Mm.
Sushma, and we didn't know who we were dealing with at that point. She actually stood by her word. She said, no, I meant it. I genuinely meant it. I loved it. I loved the
Mm.
idea, and I loved the vibe of what Ram and Amita brought to the table there. uh,
Mm.
that's the straightforwardness we started working with. We realized we were working with not just an actor who has taken a sabbatical from acting, but has actually invested a lot more in life. We're going to get an actor who's going to bring 10 more years of a life into play, experiences
Mm.
in
Yeah.
dance we're going to do. And yet at the same time, we also add, as a human being, a fine human being, someone who we can all look up to. And
Mm.
that's, we rarely get to work with people who we say, I look up to this person playing Arya. Just for
Mm.
the kind of value system she has in her. So that
Mm.
was the journey working, where this whole thing started coming together. We had uh, we did take some very interesting calls in terms of on one hand we said, as a crew we'll work with people who we have trust and faith, but there were some things we wanted to try out a new energy to. And the DOP, for example, my favorite, Harshvi Oberoi,
Mm.
I remember meeting. Sorry, I'm just jumping from point to point. I'm just trying
No,
to.
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Lata, this is so
No,
much
no,
fun.
no.
I remember we'd called Harshvi to office, and my thing was, let's make it easy. Let's try to understand him. And Ram said the way we are going to film this is unlike what most people have ever seen or heard. Uh,
Mm.
so he said, I want to prep him already at the start. And he said, Harshvir, there'll be no lights, there'll be no film lights, there'll be sunlight, there'll be the tube lights, there'll be anything which exists in a place. Harshveer, you cannot touch a piece of furniture. You cannot tell the actors where to stand. There'll be no focus marks. It's like a wedding filmer in a wedding. The event is being organized. Your job is to capture it and still bring the cinematicness that you need. I thought, ये तो भाग जाएगा DOP. He's quite a sage and quite a cool guy, and he actually came back for a second meeting and a third meeting, and we had him. So really wonderful bunch of people, Latha. And sometimes when people say that, how did you end up making this? I think it was just a bunch of people who were fearless at that moment, who came together to work on something. But to fight the taboo of saying, "Oh, is it a remake?" These thoughts come to you, right? And we said, "No, it's not." There's respect which all of us as artists have for all these characters in the world. Painstakingly, Thea, the costume stylist, Anna, brilliant people. Everyone jamming together. Vishal Khurana, who did the music. So these are the things, Latha, I think happens once in a while, and now the pressure to do it again in the future is already there. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and I think so are the fans. But, you know, other than Sushmita, you had a fantastic set of actors. You know, you had Namit Das and so on. You had Siddharth. I mean, you had brilliant actors even otherwise. It was not just Sushmita. And I think that was also one of the strengths, isn't it, of the show?
Yeah, I think we sometimes forget that casting starts with writing, and the fact that we had material which allowed us to tell 23 stories. There was one event of the head of the family, or the man of the family getting shot down, and how it affects everything around, everyone around. How it affects the kid, wife, the family, the business. I think that the idea of a ripple effect of that we could explore with the writing, and since write shades of each character and have a graph for each. We had a chat with Abhimanyu, our casting director, who said, I'm licking my fingers, because as actors, there's so much more to do in these. Even the kids, I think a lot of people commented that they were not just there to in the numbers. You know, they are fleshed out characters.
They were very good. Yeah.
And somewhere when you look back and we look at the whole cast that we could piece together, we said we are telling stories and thoughts and vision of so many characters, from a 7-year-old, 8-year-old, all the way to a 70-year-old, and that show allowed us to have. But yeah, that's the fun as creators, right? You realize that this is what this is allowing us to do. We normally, when you work on a feature or an ad or any other format of filmmaking, you follow one character. But this show, Aarya was the spine. She was the central character. But there were so many more you could build around her. My one of the other favorite subplots is Viren. I think, I don't know whether he's still here, but Viren, Pallavi played by Gargi, their track. First romance of a kid coming of age for them. I think you can pad them in, no? That is what made a joy. But wonderful set of actors. I think the way we used to film, it was so actor dependent. It was so heavier, or everyone was trying to protect the actor. And because we were trying to give it an atmosphere where you could come closer to truth. Why the conversation, for example, we didn't want you to feel you are on a set working. We wanted to feel that you are in this space which feels like a natural space. And these are the dialogues that we would like you to say, but you are free to arrive at those dialogues in a different way. You may say that Aarya breaks down, but if at this moment, while you're emoting, there's no tear that comes out, so be it. Right? The idea is that you are pain, but to express it is absolutely your decision as an actor. So it was shocking at first to the actors, to be so much freedom, uh, but yet at the same time, there was so much they could explore and bring to the table that they've never felt like this in a long time. I remember this. There's a scene with Sikandar who plays Daulat in the show, and
Sikandar. Yeah.
Sikandar's character is supposed to go to Aarya and say, "Has Jawahar aaya tha?" And and I remember the scene when Sikandar said, "Sandeep, what should he say at this point?" I said, "I don't know, because you have now filmed for this part for 20 days. You know this character." You know, at first he was shocked, and he said, "I don't know this." And there's another scene when he out and Aru was smoking a cigarette, and on paper we had imagined that he will go and Aru will say, "Please don't tell Mama," and he agreed. But he said, "I said, fair. Then you do your bit. You take the cigarette and throw it. I don't know. You decide." So he went in and took the cigarette. He started walking away, and I whispered to Aru, "Is that what you want?" She said, "No." I said, "Then bloody light another one." And she lit another. And these are things that just happen in the flow, because there were no exact marks. Even though we had a tight script, a well-written script, we were never trying to confine intuition. We were trying to set the idea of the script was to give you a direction on what direction to go, but you were free to explore that in whatever way you want.
So I think that, like you said, was something unheard of. And I think that gave all the actors the opportunity to also bring their talent to the table, isn't it? Because it wasn't like just doing what they were told and then they would just go, which is what happens most of the time. But and I think that's one of the strengths again of the show, possibly. But uh, were there any challenges during the shooting of the show, of the series? Any, things that you didn't expect and suddenly you had to deal with things, or any of those kind of situations? Or were you guys like totally prepared? Because you shot in Rajasthan, isn't it, during the winter?
Latha, the thing about filmmaking is, I was just telling this thing to someone. Somebody was telling me that there are so many things that are right about Aarya, but there are so many things which they thought were not working. And I said, even the rocket that lands on moon has 25 things that did, but the larger thing is you landed there, right? A film shoot is every day. You have 100 different situations that come up, but at the end of the day, once you navigate and you're done with it, you say, "Okay, bring it on. What's my new challenge? What's tomorrow gonna bring?" So there's never a smooth. You can never prep enough, and despite prep, you always want to leave some room for it. You may go one fine day to a set and say, "Oh, this is the way I'm gonna film. I'm gonna shoot towards east because the day it was beautiful." But you come after 10 days and someone there has decided to put a blue tarpaulin covering that whole area. That or decide to not turn up that day. So on one hand, you can what I had planned, and the other thing to say is embrace it and say, "So that day, this east was the beautiful direction. What's beautiful today? What can I do with the circumstances you have?" So somewhere that feeling every time. But Rajasthan was absolutely different challenge. We started first inside a confined space, which was Chomu Palace, which we used as a location for Zoravar's Haveli, where the shadi happens, everything happens. But once we were done with that, had to actually film in actual Rajasthan, which means you have to go out on the streets, you have to take Sushmita to these public places. And the first thing we shot right after that was we shot in Fatima's house, which was quite in the outskirts, a very public mohalla. We were so tense already because for the first time we realized we were working with Sushmita Sen. I remember we starting the day and we thinking that probably X amount of security guards will suffice because we've shot with different actors, huge male heroes out there.
Hmm.
But all of us, we realized the reach of this person is so much. The number of people who came from adjoining mohallas. We had to immediately
Hmm.
call or double the number of people to ensure that things go smoothly. Of course, they are very warm and lovely. We just had to be
Right.
protective and
Yeah. Yeah.
I've shot so much there.
Hmm.
There's untoward, especially for a lady. There's so much respect. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
these are keep propping up, Lata.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, so once, you did the entire post-production during the lockdown, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that must have been a totally different experience because I don't think that's ever happened in the film industry or the entertainment industry.
Yeah, it is. We finished filming in the first week of March. In fact, I think 5th March.
Mm.
Wrap a party, which is unheard of right now when you say the word party. Yeah, a party with all 300 of us dancing the night away, feeling very happy. Took a breather for 7 8 days. By 15th of March,
Mm.
convened to start looking at the footage and the lineup. And
Mm.
already by then, the pandemic had started spreading. It was offices were shutting.
Yeah.
By the 20th of March, we realized we had to shut shop. This is not
Mm.
out the normal way. And while everyone was trying to just stay afloat and understand what's happening, we took I think around 7 8 days or 10 days off eventually. And
Mm.
and we didn't do this like everyone else, right? We didn't know this is
Mm.
to us, right? I remember eventually we had a call and we said, listen, there are two directions we can go from here. Every
Mm.
a Hotstar is absolutely understanding in the situation and is willing to change our timelines. And you decide
Mm.
whether you want to stop and only resume after everything is done, or
Mm.
do you want to do something really really stupid but challenging? Is to do poor. And they said, did you just? We all joined in. Vishal Khurana is right here. Vishal Khurana, our music director. Vishal,
Huh.
Sir Subhash Shahu, an outstanding sound designer. His whole team.
Mm.
Ghosh, the sound producer. So many people. There's Dipti. I was talking of Fatima's house, and there's Dipti who's just joined in. Hi, Dipti. Uh, so
Mm.
everyone strangely was in the spirit to say, bring it on. देखते क्या होता है. And as leaders, Ram, Amita, producers, they said we'll see where we go. It's okay if we fail, but let's try. Uh,
Mm.
Everyone pulled up together. I remember calls would happen from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with an hour break even to cook. I have a little baby. Put the baby to bed. Uh,
Mm.
around everything. And never trying to judge where we are reaching. We would just go for it. And by the end,
Mm.
we were earlier without the lockdown. Our deadline to release the show was in May during the IPLs that
Mm.
happened
Mm.
there. We were only delayed by a month after 15 days of actually doing nothing. So that's
Okay.
Vishal. I don't know if they're still here, but Vishal and Subhash sir and there's Shraddha, everyone, all our team members, they just put it together. So hats off to them. I can't really claim uh, much about this except for some inspiring words I may have said somewhere if they would have helped.
Okay, now Sandeep, the show is such a, success, and people are raving about it. The audiences are loving it. How do you feel? How is the feeling now that, the baby that you've delivered is now like a super hit baby?
It was very awkward at the start. I'm not used to this. Jokes apart, no, it was unreal. And the thing is, it was not like a Hindi film where you say you opened 200 crores. It it started
Right.
gradually, and every
Mm.
day I would get calls and messages, and I realized after the first weekend, everyone around me in my immediate circle of people had seen the show, and I exactly realized at that point that something is happening here. And the second
Mm.
weekend, the calls just would not stop. And slowly the data started coming in, and we realized how huge the show had become. And the best thing, all the calls that came, no one said I saw the show. They said, I saw the show with my mother. I saw the show with my father. I saw the show with my parents, my family. That for me was a huge thing, because we, OTT gives you a freedom to do what you want to do. This it's self-censored medium. But all which I made was to not try to go all out and use violence or sex, any of these qualities, even swear. Just because we are allowed to use it, we don't want to overdo it. Only where the character really needs it. So we went by our gumption of what we wanted to put out as a value. And when to know that the success means that it's a validation of the way we think, the way we believe the world to be, and the fact there's an audience out there for us. As a filmmaker, that's what, because you never make something saying, oh, I want 1,000 people to like or to like. You say, this is what I would like to make. I hope people like it. And when they do, there's the... Yeah.
So what's next, Sandeep? What's next? Can we look forward to the next season? Tell us a little bit about that.
Latha, there is the original Penosa from which we have adapted this. It actually had 5 seasons. So if we really want, love keeps pouring in, you never know, we may go the whole hog. But right now, out and working our way to season 2. So let's see how that turns out on paper, and we'll take it ahead from there.
Okay. And what about for you personally? Are you working on anything else next, other than, Aarya, of course? What are you looking forward to?
There's a bunch of stuff. There's a film I can't tell you anything about, which I'm working.
Okay.
I hope it falls into place, and I can talk to you soon the next time about that. There are a couple of which I'm also working on. There's also actually there's so much, Latha. I don't know how do I sum it up. The thing is, every day you wake up and you say, I have a great idea.
Right. I think we just lost Sandeep. Just waiting for him to come back. Hello? There you are. You're back. So what are you looking forward to now post the lockdown, other than work? What are you looking forward to?
I last week I actually took a long drive and went down all the way to meet my parents and hugged my mother the tightest. And I was in the simple things that you take for granted. I realized that life has changed. It has taught us new way of looking at things. So I want to do some really stupid, simple stuff. I want to go to the beach. I want to go to the beach and sit my feet in water. I want to go to the park. I want to play cricket. I want to meet friends. Really basic stuff which we all had, which we took for granted. I want to just see it one more time in a different light and cherish it. You never know. This has been a great learning. This pandemic. There's so told us that things we were running behind were the wrong things. Uh,
Yeah.
that is the true value of life, and I'm really thankful to that, or at least that part of the pandemic.
Yeah, obviously. Sandeep, thank you so much for chatting with me. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for the insights that you gave into Arya. And I'm saying this again. I hope you guys, start working on the next season, and all 5 seasons get made. And because we love it, and hopefully, you'll give us some great news on that soon. And good luck with your film, which you can't talk about, but whenever that is, keep us posted. So wishing you the very best, and thank you so much. Do take care of yourself and your family.
Thank you, Lata. This is awesome. I had so much fun talking to you. Let's do this more.
Thank you. Definitely. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.